I'm unmuted. I'm ready to go. Good morning.
Morning.
AM Lockport, 7 a.m. Worth getting up for. Well, today's one of the last days of 2021, and we'll be entering 2020 part 2 here coming up. 2022. It kind of sounds like a movie title. There are a few things I'd like to talk about at the end of the meeting. I don't want to use the beginning of the meeting for that. What I'd like to do is immediately just start moving into our meeting today and start with, let's see, inspiration. Is Nancy there in person?
She is.
She is.
Okay, I'll give her time to get the lectern for our inspiration for today.
Marty's here. Marty, what seat is for you?
This morning, our topic is home improvement. And I am so glad that I live in an apartment now, but I still watch HGTV because
There's two.
anyway, what I am hoping today is that we all take the opportunity to improve ourselves. As we improve our home, we improve ourselves. We feel better about ourselves when we come to Toastmasters. This is a venue to learn about self-improvement, listening, speaking, using the word of the day, not just here, but outside. Learn that word, get to know what it is, and listen intently. Also, be mindful of your speaking patterns, be mindful of the words that you use and the filler words. So let's have a little bit of self-improvement as we learn about home improvement.
Thank you so much. The next thing on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you could all please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Play ball.
Exactly. For Jill, I don't know if you can see everybody that was online. Just to let you know, I see Len and Tom and David, Jen and Mike and Dr. Stevens and a guest, Avis. So with that, I know that my own industriousness has made me use a lot of home improvements. So love to enjoy this meeting and listen to everyone's table topics and things like that. I don't know, it's going to be nice. Go ahead, Jill Roaring, our table or our Toastmaster for the day.
Thank you, President Thomas. Start going through our list of jobs. Wordmaster Jackie Kenny, what did you come up with for us today?
I have experience in home improvement, and so I know that while sometimes it's terrific, it can also be a catastrophe. A noun, an event causing great and often sudden damage or suffering. Please use the word catastrophe during the day. Just because it wasn't enough.
Yes, we've all had catastrophes. Nice touch with the duct tape there.
Thank you.
We do have a guest, Avis Brody, who is EPM. Welcome, Avis.
Thank you.
I messed up on the printed agenda that I did. Our jester is Gerald Stevens. Do you have a joke for us, Gerald?
I do have a joke for everybody today. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Let's hope no catastrophes occur today. An electrician went to a job at a house with a large dog and a parrot. The owner, sensing the electrician's nerves, said to the electrician, "There is no need to worry about the dog. But whatever you do, don't say a word to the parrot." Relieved, the electrician got to work. The dog sitting there watching him the whole time. All of a sudden, the owner left. The parrot let loose with the meanest tirade of insults the world has ever seen. After a while, the electrician told the parrot to shut up. And the parrot said, "Sick 'em, Rex." Madam Toastmaster.
Yes, dogs are contractors' enemies. No doubt about that. Our master, Beth, thanks.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. This honored Toastmaster there. My job as master is to count the ums, ahs, and the pregnant pauses, and the use of filler words like should, and things like that we all tend to use. So I will be counting. Thank you very much.
Again. Thank you, Beth. Our tech and gesture master is Tom Moran.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. My job this morning will be to evaluate the technological progress of the club. And also, I think that general movements of people at the podium when they're speaking, and also on the hybrid end of it. And I'll be commenting when you call on me. You kind of caught me off guard. I think that was kind of a catastrophe, but I could start over if you want. But I think everybody gets the idea. So thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tom. Already up and ready. Larry McKenzie here with a quote for us.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. This morning I have the pleasure of giving a quote. I thought I would basically do one of my own, but mine weren't as good as the ones I found. I did bring a piece of toast with me, but that was something that was for a different cause. I thought it was the gesture. Quotes. It always seems impossible until it's done. Every moment. That was Nelson Mandela. You cannot depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. Mark Twain. I have a couple more just because I'm here. If you build castles in the air, your work need not be lost. That is where they should be. Now put foundations under them.
Yeah.
That was Henry David Thoreau. Now for some lesser known folks. I have two more. I know I'm ready for you to give me that. Okay. Happy are those who dream. Dreams are ready to pay the price to make them come true. Leon Swains. That is. Success is the good fortune that comes from aspiration, desperation, perspiration, and inspiration. Heaven Assad. Home improvements. Many of those quotes will be appropriate.
Thank you, Mr. Larry. Our quiz master is Eric Schneider. Tell us what you're gonna do. And we need the extension for it.
Madam Toastmaster, Toastmasters, and our guest.
And nothing to go wrong.
Anyway, I'm your quiz master today, so get ready to be quizzed on, and there'll be points, and no, I'm not throwing any money out because I have to get $50. Anyway, I will be quizzing everybody at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
$50 is okay.
Yeah, this is in Jeopardy where we're expecting thousands of dollars in payouts here. Our grammarian for the day is Marty Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As grammarian this morning, I will be carefully testing my own listening skills and recording any wonderful uses of the English language, and then uses of the English language that could be tweaked a little bit to sound a little more professional. I will be reporting back at the end of the meeting. I do hope there is no catastrophe during this role of grammarian. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
I thought I was about to see one there when Marty insisted on stepping over the top of the cord. Thank you, Larry. It turns back on again.
You should be good.
No,
Did
we
somebody turn it off?
off, run it off, ever.
Should be on.
Yeah, just be
Yeah,
on.
okay.
Keep it on, keep it on.
All right. Our timer is Len Thornton.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guest Avis. My job as timer is, of course, to time all of the speakers today. While it's not a catastrophe to speak too short or too long, we're all experienced Toastmasters here, and there's really no excuse. What you'll see from me is a changing background. Green when you qualify, yellow means you're in the middle part, and red means wrap it up. And if somebody there could parrot my colors, I'll pin my image here, so you should see me on the screen regardless of who's speaking. And if you could just kind of duplicate my colors on the in-person light bulb there with the remote, that would be fantastic. Madam Toastmaster.
Mike Licata has agreed to do the local timing.
Come on back up.
There's other people.
We've changed the backup so that Mike is available for table topics.
With me as backup, so he is available.
Okay, now let's see this straight out on that. Now, the most important role of the day is he's sitting there shaking his head. Dave Licata, who gets to evaluate me for the second week in a row. Oh.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I am so excited to be the general evaluator on the last meeting of 2021. I can say this if I remember to smile. It is the job of the general evaluator to evaluate Toastmaster of the day and the evaluators. It's not my job to evaluate the general tone of the meeting. It's not my job to evaluate the speakers. That's the evaluator's job. All I've got to worry about is the Toastmaster du jour and the evaluators du jour. Of course, next week, somebody's going to get up there and say, "Hey, general tone of the meeting." And that would be a catastrophe. That would be a catastrophe. Thank you very much.
Humbug. to hear that once this time of year, right?
Happy New Year.
I don't know why I chose home improvement. I was laying in bed the other night saying I have to come up with a theme. And all of a sudden it popped in. I had been thinking about a few other things, but they're kind of overdone. End of the year, New Year's resolutions, all that stuff back. Home improvement. Even those of us who have apartments undergo a certain amount of home improvement. It is probably the only industry that in the last year and a half of economic slowdown actually showed major increases. People had time and the energy, and because of all the government giveaways, the money to do things around their houses. Not only that, but they were home more, so they saw the deficiencies in their houses. Home improvement can be anywhere from moving a knickknack on a shelf to totally remodeling a kitchen, or like they do on HGTV all the time, remodeling an entire house. I can't comprehend remodeling an entire house at once. I went through remodeling a kitchen down to the studs when I was a young child. And that was plenty, and I know we're gonna be doing that at our house at some point too, so. So here's a toast to all the jobs, finished and unfinished. That we hope to accomplish in the years to come.
They're here.
And there.
As I said, my parents and I moved into big ranch house in 1969, right after I got out of second grade. We moved that day, the last day of school. Yeah. And a year or two later, Mom and Dad had been in the house long enough to see the deficiencies. We had already been using a portable dishwasher, one that you rolled over and hooked up to the sink. We had that family of 3 kids, 3 daughters, and got tired of it telling us to wash the dishes, I guess. And I don't know why it was me, but I went with Mom and Dad, and they went kitchen shopping one day. Now, the idea at the time, because the kitchen was an old-fashioned farm kitchen with really good sturdy wood cabinets, but they were thinking about just doing some sort of refacing. But it was a big kitchen. And we walked into Quaker Made up in Niagara Falls Boulevard, Russell Boulevard Mall. And they had this huge display kitchen, which apparently they still did that then. Now they just put up like 3 or 4 little cabinets at a corner to represent the kitchen for display. They must have learned from this one. This was a very large display kitchen. It was so huge that kitchens weren't big and expansive yet at that time, and they had not been able to sell it. Mom and Dad got that huge display kitchen at the time for $3,500, which seemed like a lot of money, but it included double thermidor ovens. We're talking top of the line appliances here. It included a brand new Corning cooktop because they had sold the one that was in the display. The one that came with it was even better than the one that was in the display. It included a KitchenAid dishwasher, a beautiful corner sink. I think it even included garbage disposal, even though they wouldn't put that up in that. That's all the appliances, but talking nowadays, by the appliances alone that came with that kitchen, we'll be at about $25,000 for the ones that came with me. And plus, the top of the Quaker made cabinets were, well, top of the one, they were good cabinets. I wonder now what those cabinets look like in that house. The house has been for a couple years since. There were so many cabinets in that house, in that kitchen set, that we used some of the cabinets in the one bathroom for vanity. We used a bunch of them in the living room for, there were some fancy display type cabinets. There was a great big built-in hutch for the dining room, which was attached to the kitchen. And there is even one piece that I remodeled to use for a tool workbench at Steve, my house right now. He didn't know that mistake, and he said saying, with that book of bafflement, I'm gonna let him take over table topics now.
I love these little surprises. Okay. For as far back as I can remember, whenever something was broke or something needed to be done, I was the go-to guy. My parents, and now all these years later, nothing's really changed. It all starts in the same way. Honey, I have an idea. Uh-oh. Okay. Well,
Yeah, but I do stuff.
yes, you do. Did I say otherwise? It's a joint project. It's a good thing. We do what I call a feasibility study. Okay, what do you want to do? Let's flesh this out and break it down into manageable parts. Now, I can do this, you can do that, and we figure out a way to make it happen. And I just sit here today. Something broke, my glasses fell apart on me. Another job I have to attend to, but I don't have to have my tools here. But I'll muddle through. So anyway, home improvement, to me anyway, has always been, okay, how do we do this? Not everybody looks at it that way. So if I'm going to ask, as long as it's been a big issue, we'll start with Mike. Now, when a home improvement issue comes up, do you say, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, I'm gonna hire this out, and what goes into your decision?
Major home improvement will probably never be that interesting because home ownership, whether you can take great pride in it, not really something I'm interested in right now.
That's it, or-
Sorry, Dave.
So we are of the mind that when the time comes and when I did actually need home improvement, I knew the right people. I think the right thing is always important to have friends that are able to do it. So the couple of times I had to make adjustments to certain departments and different departments, I had asked. I was able to ask some of my more contractor savvy friends to help out and avoid a catastrophe experience because it was one of those things that I would love to contract the work out because it would just simply be a lot easier. Thinking more with homeowners from my experience is the fact that I've actually had more experience with helping people move. Basically, because I've been this size since the 6th grade, so when a lot of friends say it's time to move, they call me and done a lot of that. Unfortunately, some of it actually has ended up being a catastrophe and some things and walls had to be fixed in previous apartments. And that it is
important to understand that when it comes to home improvement, it's always important to ask friends for the help in the future, and it's always good to bounce different ideas off it.
That's a good point. I didn't throw that in it. Besides, what can we do? Who do we know that can help us do this? Yes, that's a very good point. Along the same lines, if you're looking at a project, and some of us love to do this. We love, okay, let's get into this with both feet, do it. Other people, I don't really know what I'm doing here. And I don't feel like doing all the work. So I guess, what's the material I got in the room? It doesn't have a job. Do you view home improvements as something, oh boy, let's do this? Or I don't want to do this and get someone to do it for you? What's your feedback on this?
Tabletop master. No, I would never tackle a project. We're looking at a possible kitchen remodel at some point, but I would take it on. However, my daughter is taking on, you wouldn't really call it a home improvement. She is planning on having a house built. We have a farm that doesn't have a house on it. And I think she may be going through, I don't know what you call it, midlife crisis. But all of a sudden, she's been living with us. It's fine, two of our daughters live with us. In a fine arrangement. However, all of a sudden she says, you know, I think it's time that I make a move and get my own place. I can't imagine all that she's going to go through. She's been choosing how she's gonna, the house plans, which she keeps revising, and the people that she's working with advising her. Pretty soon, there's gonna be that work test.
Okay.
And I like HGTV. And I hope that she doesn't run into what they always seem to. They're looking over the next part of a project and go, uh-oh, this could be a catastrophe. Mr. Tabletop.
Thank you. And you brought up another interesting point that you have to look at when you're doing what I call a feasibility study. The cost involved. Can we afford to do this? How far can we take it? It's all part of the whole picture when you're looking into this. So let's get into something specific. Sorry. Now, great minds. Stop that. Great minds think alike. I was just handed a sheet of the very direction I was looking at this moment to look for somebody online who's available. And I see David Jones is available. So let's talk specific. It's any specific home improvement you've done. Did it work out well or didn't it?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. I recently moved into a new house, which you see behind me. I'm a do-it-yourself guy. I moved from a 3.2 to a 3.2.5. Did it all myself. I just rented a U-Haul and did it all myself. When I moved into the house, it was newly renovated, so I had to put up some pictures. The reason I got this house, you can see right here, is my lemon tree. I grew it from seeds about 3 years ago, and now it's about 12 feet tall. So I have in my living room there very high ceilings. They're 20 feet tall, and I decided to put some pictures high up. And I have one of those big folding ladders that can go up 20 feet. It weighs about 40 pounds. And for whatever reason, I don't know if you can see it, I have my little throw rug there. I thought that that would be good support for my ladder when I'm 12 feet up in the air, hanging up a pitcher. And it fell with me on it. And so I'm hobbling around now. I didn't break anything, but I'm all black and blue. So it was quite the catastrophe. I have a leg brace on my ankle. So that was a lesson learned. But the main thing is I was laying there, the pitcher was swaying back and forth on one screw. So I knew I had to jump out of the way in case it fell. But later in the day, I had to go back up and fix it. So I got back up there and I fixed it all, but I didn't put the ladder on the rug, which sometimes I don't know why we think we have good ideas as rug as a support, but it is not a good support. But other than that, I've just been doing a lot of home decorating, and that's been my holiday season, just trying to fix stuff and hobble around doing it. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Okay, can I get a word master report?
All three participants use the word of the day.
And can I get a timer's report?
You may indeed, Mr. Toastmaster. I'm pleased to report that all three of our contestants qualified. Mike Licata at 142, Carol Ann 207, qualified with the buffer, and David Jones at 141. Mr. Toastmaster, Topic Master.
You can go for one of those three, and I'll turn it back over to Jill.
Mr. Table Topics Master. The aforementioned kitchen project, we did have to wash dishes by hand while it was going on. We did them in the bathtub. I think we had just bought a microwave. No, we did not have a microwave yet. I don't remember how Mom did the cooking. So. Quite the adventure. But I think at this point, we're going to get right into our speaking section. And our first evaluator is Tracy Farrell, who will be evaluating Mike Florio. Tracy.
Oriole's joining us online. He's just starting the manual effective coaching. He's new back to our club. It's the icebreaker, 4 to 6 minutes. Do you have this title?
Yes, I do. Mike Florio, starting over, Mike Florio.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guests. Starting again. Well, this is my second icebreaker this year. This makes my third ever. And as I went through the pathways, I saw someone on there, a Toastmaster, that had done 20 icebreakers. So I really don't feel that bad that I'm only at 3. I've got a few more to go. But I'm hoping this one's a little bit more focused. And as I went through the options in the Pathways program, I chose effective coaching, the effective coaching track. And really for 2 reasons. One, my current work has changed. And 2, my personal business outside of my day job has grown. My day job, as some of you know, I work for Waste Management. I've worked for Waste Management for 21 years in the recycling division as a commodities trader. I buy and sell scrap paper for a living all over the world. And recycling has taken off in the last 5 years that I've worked for WM. Companies like Amazon, Walmart, Lowe's, have all reached out to Waste Management to help them with their recycling programs, and that's what we do. Carbon footprint reduction, sustainability, alternative use of materials, all these buzzwords that you hear every day. I live every day, and I'm kind of the boots on the ground as to getting it done, really. My role has changed over the years with Waste Management many times. One thing that was always the constant there, and still is that the constant is change. Now I feel as if I'm more of a mentor and a coach to people that are coming into the business. And I get to lead calls, thanks to Toastmasters, really being comfortable in front of Zoom. I had special projects, and I'll share more of that in some of my other speeches to get maybe more in detail as I go through this process. But the other reason really, and in the rental business or property management, which is kind of has grown over the years for me. And I want to be a coach to my sons, and I hope they'll take over the business someday and even build on it in the future even further. The business has been a family affair, and we've all pitched in. You want to talk about home improvement, we've done painting, plumbing, floors, you name it. We've kind of, done everything. What was once a simple kind of mom and pop operation is much more complicated business. Dealing with tenants, contractors, attorneys, insurance agents, banks, and any other catastrophe that might come along down the road. I want to share, and it's time for me to share those experiences with my sons so that they learn, and I'm hoping that this coaching track will help me, to progress. Really, all of this began for me in 2000. It was one of those pivotal years for me. WM, I started at WM. My father passed away that year, and I bought my first rental property. It was really, it doesn't seem that long ago, but it was 21 years ago. My first rental property was for my mom. It was her house. And Mom's always been a great supporter of what I do, and really my harshest critic, okay? I always thought if I could keep my mom happy, I could probably keep any tenant happy. And my mom enjoyed that house and loved it for 21 years. And sadly, my mom passed away last week, and I feel like I'm starting over without her. I miss her a lot. And, finally, I just want to thank the Toastmaster family for their thoughts and prayers. I really appreciate everyone reaching out, and God bless, Madam Toastmaster.
I don't know if you saw it here, but here you got a standing ovation, Mike. In honor of, I think, your mother, as much as anything else. We all feel very saddened by her, and that was a little rough at your first house. Has lost its first tenant.
Thank you. Thanks.
I surely hope that you have not been seriously affected by the rent moratorium. It's one of the worst things I think the government has done. Our next evaluator is Thomas Heldwine, who is evaluating Sylvia Baptiste. So Tom.
There we go. Good morning, everyone, my fellow Toastmasters. I have not had a chance to get Sylvia's details on her speech. I looked online, I didn't see it. I looked for an email, didn't see it. I should have probably reached out to her, so that's a bad on me. If you could get her, do you have her details, Madam Toastmaster?
Not really.
Does now.
I do now. I guess I will fill it out for you and you'll evaluate from what I tell you here.
Mhm.
She is doing a speech, Connect with Storytelling. Purpose of the project is for the member to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. Her time is 5 to 7 minutes. Let's see. She is completing this project, is focusing on using stories in a speech or creating a speech that is a story. It may be any type of story. Personal, well-known fiction, or one of his or her own creation. Listen for a well-organized speech that is a story or includes a story. That's what Sylvia's speech is. Her title, Sylvia Baptiste, coincidence or not? Coincidence or not, Sylvia Baptiste.
Her story, it happened recently. And I'm gonna focus on, and I want you to focus on the date and the times I tell you. The people who are involved. Is this really a coincidence? I think so. If it's not, it's scary. Actually, if someone didn't notify me early of the story. Coincidence. Kate, do you believe in coincidence?
I know it happens, but usually we think things are coincidence and they're not.
Okay, Tom. Thomas, do you believe in a coincidence? He says yes. Okay. It was September 8th. It was a Wednesday, 2021, at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I had a meeting with our financial advisor in his office in Williamsville. The appointment was arranged by phone. The appointment was confirmed the day before by phone. My cell phone at home here. So no emails. This is very important to know. No emails were transferred. I hate media. I hate emails, media, everything. So it was all done by phone. We were in his office, 10 o'clock exactly, and talking about the weather, what future trips. Can we retire at 65? Or we're going to work? We have to work at 80? I want to work at 80. I would prefer not to, but if it came up, it came up. We left there pretty happy. And before we left his office, his partner, I would say she is, receptionist, partner, we didn't want to call her, the person who does the dirty work, secretary, came in and said, tell them I'll have what they requested in a day or so. I'm thinking to myself, talking about another point, right? And he even looked puzzled at her. And she walked right back out. So we went, decided, okay, where are we gonna eat lunch? It's 12 o'clock almost, 11:30. Where are we gonna eat lunch? All these places. So remember, we were in his office with him at 10 o'clock, September 8th. September 10th, I get a phone call from all of us here, and it is his secretary. It's like, what the hell are you doing? I said, what are you talking about? She goes, you didn't request this information? And I said, no, request what information? She goes, oh, you've been hacked. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Her name is Sue. What are you talking about, Sue? She said, well, let me send you what you requested. I said, you didn't request anything. Oh, yes, you have. So she emailed me at work, my work email, not my home email. All these little things. Canceled check that we wanted our funds to do at ACH into in Minnesota. I thought, what the heck is this place? And my husband's name on it as the person, our address, account number, or routing number, looked like a legit check. Then she sent me a voice mail because apparently someone called as my husband and talked to her about transferring our funds into this ACH. Very thick accent. I'm not sure where it was from. I went home after looking at this and said, can't be. Looked in my email. She said this all came from our email, his email, Larry's email, Roadrunner. And it said, first one, September 8th, 9:57 in the morning. Hope finds you well. I need to know the value of my policy number XYZ. Versus numbers here. As of today, Sylvia and Larry. This was sent to a person that we met 3 years prior. This person responded back at 10 o'clock exactly on September 8th. I received your email regarding policy XYZ. Please let me know your last name. At 10:08, we responded back supposedly, Lawrence P. Backseat. My husband never signs anything, Lawrence. Or P, his middle initial. And then this person wrote back 15 minutes later and said, I believe you're with another advisor. I will contact them. That you're requesting this information. Now, we didn't request anything. This is all of my junk mail and our home email. Then on the 10th of September at 1:30, he contacted Sue and said, I'm waiting for this paperwork. Sue responded back and said, I tried to call you at 716-253-0620. You didn't answer. I am still looking for the information. Was it a coincidence that we happened to be in the office at the time of this email was being circulated? I'm not sure. It could have been a really catastrophe if she didn't call me. Thank you.
This is my thing.
Like you said.
Long live the mic.
Well, Phil's using he's using it anyway. Thank you, Eric.
Okay.
It didn't sound
It's not,
bad.
it's completely on. You made that like battery
Yeah.
burner.
Yeah, really.
Jeez.
It didn't sound.
Runs out of battery within a day or so. That's horrible. Our last speaker for today is going to be Bill Russell, who's being evaluated by Kate Orr. So if Kate would come up and tell us about what's going on here.
Thank you. Can you hear us at home? Larry and everyone, excellent. I am honored to evaluate Phil for a second time in the round on this dynamic leadership in pathways with the evaluation and feedback for a second time. This is why this is evaluated most recently and now a second time. Jill, do you have the introduction or would you like to? Excellent, excellent. So the speech is Mr. Timer, 5 to 7 minutes. And his purpose is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply feedback to the second speech. And then the purpose of the speech is for the member to demonstrate that he has applied the feedback received from that speech. Thank you very much.
Can you slide that phone back up on that thing? Maybe it's, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, you were popping your piece. I don't know if I get that.
It's a good idea.
It's been fixed that way. I don't know if it's gonna help.
Sounds better.
Sounds better. Bill Russell. His speech is pulling together his last 3 to 6 speeches. The living to 102, which I think he did, living to 100. Actually, the way I printed it out, it says 1,002. Happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And his 3-legged stool speech. Bill Russell, pulling it together, Bill Russell.
Do I need this thing? We good?
Yeah, so they can
We're
get
good?
it at home.
They gave you a thumbs up from home.
You want to hear a story about home improvement? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly how it's done. It's the only way to do it. You grab a phone, you call your plumber. Grab your phone, call your carpenter. And if it's a big job, call your contractor. That's all you have to do, because the only thing I can do is maybe paint and clean. That's your advice for today. My mother lived to be 93. Right? 93. She always said there's a book up there. Good Lord has a book up there. And in that book is your name and a date on it. Only one person knows about it, and it's the good Lord himself. But it's up there. So you better watch out. Now, if you remember, I came up with this thing, livingto100.com. It's done by insurance companies, because that's all they do, statistics. They know tomorrow how many people in what age group and what grouping they have in it that are going to die. They know the number within 1 or 2 people. All they need is the names, believe it or not. So living to 100 is about longevity. There's no guarantee that I'm going to be living to 106. All right. I've been in the insurance business since 1982. So you know for a fact, you don't know how long you're going to live. There's disease, there's cancers, there's all kinds of things. And there's, as we talk about in insurance, the proverbial bus that's going to ride over you tomorrow or today. You don't know. Now, living that long, 106, I want to be on top of things. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. I'd like to be wealthy. And importantly, I want to be wise. How are we going to accomplish that? Let's start off with living to 100. My mother, 93. Her brothers, 96. sister, 96. My grandparents, 75. The only people that didn't make it past their 70s because of cancer. They get you. They get you. So what's the key? The key is genetics. If you have longevity in your family, we were talking about my mother, 93. Well, she had a problem with a rib like I had the last couple of weeks, slip rib. So in her 80s, what would she do? She'd go have a good martini and sit down. What else you gonna do? That's what you have to do. Relax. She lived to be 93. In her earlier years, she smoked, but she quit smoking after Lisa was born, or during, before Lisa was in pregnancy. So she lived in. And in our family, we've had accidents. At least my sister Lisa, 39, died in an accident, automobile accident. Those things happen. It's life. It's the way it goes. Now remember, insurance is all statistical. And there's genetics. That's what keeps you going. Look back in your history as to your parents, grandparents, and go down the line. Grandparents to 75, back in the 50s, life expectancy was 60. Look it up. Look it up. So there's no guarantee. Now, however, if we're going to live that way, you got a plan. That plan has to be on how to be healthy, wealthy, happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And in that plan, you need balance. Balance in what? Family life, work life. It could be a 3-legged stool, a 5-legged stool, a 7-legged, I don't care how many you put in there, but you need balance. You do too much of one, you lose balance. You do too little of one, you lose balance. You know, the workaholic. They don't see their family. They don't see their children graduating. What they do is they're workaholics. You need that balance to balance that family. I don't care what your family life is like, or what you're like. You need to have that balance. Healthy, proper sleep, the right amount of alcohol. Right? So you need that balance. I don't care if it's a 3-legged stool, a 4-legged stool, whatever it is. If one of those legs is gone, you're going to tip over, and you have to be careful. Now, balance in life means balance in your physical, your mental, your social, your family, and your work life. Too much of one or too little of another throws that balance off. Now, with this family history, my mother living to 93, my uncle's 96, and all that, I might have a chance. But with that book up there, I just hope it doesn't come too soon. Better Toastmasters.
Wander after your mic.
He wandered off with my mind. Yeah. Which wouldn't have been the case if we didn't have another like that, nearly 8 batteries. May I have a timer's report?
Most certainly may. Madam Toastmaster, I'm pleased to report that all 3 of our speakers qualified. Mike Florio at 458, Sylvia at 654, and Phil at 617.
Pardon my coughing. You'll see me last Saturday. This is a major improvement. We can now vote for any of our 3 speakers. Sylvia, Mike, or Bill. I think our little improvement project at home right now is we have a friend who tends to give us lots of stuff. Because he cleans out estates. Estates. He brought us a bookshelf a couple weeks ago. And I had a pretty good idea where it was gonna go at the very beginning. Steve wasn't happy. It required him to clean off a shelf that had been sitting there with stuff on it for 35 years.
All right.
That's, the shelf was full of stuff you needed real. Every day.
For 35 years.
Maybe 35 years ago he did.
Just in case.
Just in case, yes. But we took this shelf, we changed the layout of the shelves a little bit so that our little stereo would fit on top of it. Which the stereo was on the shelves that were there. And I started painting. And in the process, decided that we were gonna put some doors on the front of the shelf. The doors also came from his salvaging operation. He had another friend who was refacing his kitchen cabinets, and he brought all those kitchen cabinet doors over for us. They're pretty junky doors. I wouldn't put them in any kitchen of my own. But for what this is, we're putting them up out the bar. I painted them yesterday, we'll put hinges on today. And we'll put pretty glassware behind it so that we have nice glassware available in the bar. And we have a place to put all those fancy little glasses that when you buy a bottle of liquor around Christmas and it has the kit, you know. I mean, they're nice, interesting glasses and you collect them, but what do you do with them? They just sit someplace. So now that these things will sit out in the bar. Along with some stemware, we were gonna put a stemware rack in it, but alas, it won't fit. What we have. Either we have to find a new one. It will fit and we'll use this one someplace else. Or who knows? Go without. So we're gonna go into our evaluation time. Our first evaluator is Tracy Farrell.
You Jill, and it sounds like the New Year's Eve main party is gonna be at the Lawrence in the Smith's house.
We don't have many people coming, so yeah.
That was an invitation.
We're supposed to be smoking in here. If our
But
friend brings
today
it.
about Mike Florio and his speech, starting again. How apropos that he said starting again, because he's back at Toastmasters and he's also at the same time beginning a new chapter in his life. He dedicated this speech to his mom, and I'm really, my condolences to you and to your family. I wasn't aware of your loss, but Mike picked it up. He went through the Christmas season. He showed up today and he gave us an icebreaker. And in that icebreaker, he kind of told us where he's been for the last 10 years, and what he's been doing. And he's really got an interesting life. I mean, trading garbage of all things, but it was interesting hearing about it and where he's been. He dedicated this speech to his mom. He was reflecting on her legacy to him and the legacy that he wants to give to his sons, which I really thought was great when he's talking about starting over. Some of the things I would do to improve, I would have opened with a stronger statement and told us what you didn't tell us. It should have been organized just a little bit better about what your mother gave to you and what you plan on leaving to your sons. And talking more, getting more in depth about those home improvement projects and the catastrophes that you've been through and how to fix them. Those catastrophes have turned into gems. And the legacy that he's giving to his sons. And I've seen some of his home improvements. Sorry, Mike. He does a great job on all of his houses. From that, I would have talked about all those lessons learned from those catastrophes. And if you really want to bring it to the next level, you're talking about coaching and challenges. And Mike's the perfect person to do this because there's so many quotes from coaches, sporting coaches and so forth, that throughout this whole path, you can use those quotes to end every single one of those speeches with. And it's believable because it's from Mike, he's a sports fan, and people, it works for him, whereas if a quote like that's coming from me, people know, I don't have no idea who that coach is or who that sports player is. But it's believable from Mike. So I'd bring it to that next level and use a lot of those sporting quotes. And there's also how that inspiration from those quotes will go on to leave a legacy to your son. Hope to hear more from you, and you did a great job. Thank you, Mike.
Our next evaluator is Tom Helvine, who is going to be evaluating Sylvia Baptiste.
All right, thank you. And Toastmaster. Can you hear me, Madam Toastmaster? Can I be heard?
Talk louder.
How about- Can you hear me now?
Keep talking, man.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go.
Good?
Much better.
Okay. Had a little bit of a technical thing there. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Well, fellow Toastmasters, we were gifted this morning with the ability to hear a story from Sylvia about how she averted a catastrophe through what some people might call luck or coincidence. She made good use of the lectern and is more of a matter-of-fact speaker. Her speeches are normally not full of drama and crazy gestures and her running around and be crazy. Since she basically was very matter-of-fact and to the point during this speech. I like how she speaks and pauses and then begins to speak again. There are a few of us that can take our time, talk slowly, and make sure we get our point across. And I think that's one of her really big strengths. I had to zoom into the lectern view in order to be able to see if she was making eye contact, which she was. But it looked good. She had references specifically so she wouldn't get anything wrong. She referenced it. Normally looking at notes is something someone might say is not something you're supposed to do, but I think that if you're going to be putting details into a story to show how big of a coincidence something was, it's important that those details be right. So knowing that there was a 5 a.m., a 10, a 10:08 email, those were important. I would have liked to have seen her add a little bit more about what could have happened. You know, how she definitely averted identity theft, the pain. She could have added some vocal variety with that, maybe one or two gestures put in there to really put home the idea that this was extremely lucky and a great coincidence for her. I liked how she started her speech with a check on listening. She asked questions of the audience, got feedback, made sure people were listening before she continued. She included all the right details, and I don't think I'm going to change my answer. I do believe in coincidences, but it is definitely no coincidence that she gave a good speech today. Madam Toastmaster.
Our last evaluator is Kate Orr. who is evaluating Phil Russell again. Take it away, Kate.
Thank you, Jill. Is this on? Phil, so good to see your face in person again. Excellent job today. Thank you for helping us to avoid catastrophe in our lives. You've been giving us such a journey, and I applaud you for creating a series of speeches. We all could learn from this. He created a theme for so many of the speeches these last 6 months, and they have made us all a bit happier, healthier, wealthier, wiser. We just have to follow. It's very inspiring. I am inspired by you, Phil. As a DTM and now almost a visionary communication level 5, he's also started a second path, and that's what we're dovetailing with here as well, with dynamic leadership. I'm inspired that you are embracing pathways. I'm inspired that you are embracing the hybrid. And then you're here in person again. And for anyone at home who couldn't tell, but I think you could, he also was featuring our beloved Buffalo Bills on a lovely sweater today. And I think you at home could see him because he made excellent eye contact and stood center of the camera, right here. We have the camera in a new position, and you've honed right in on that. You have so many tools in your toolbox, and we could see them all. Your gestures, your lack of using notes, which I'm feeling tethered to this lectern because my notes are right there. You were out in front. You gave us excellent vocal variety, clarity, more organization and structure than any of the last speeches. You were so organized in advance. You gave Jill, our Toastmaster, and me, your evaluator, Len, our timer, several emails, and in speaking to us last week during our party meeting, you gave us structure, you gave us an introduction, unlike any other speaker today. I thought it elevates you as a DTM, and you showed us again why you are a distinguished Toastmaster. I think there are very few recommendations I could give. Perhaps we had some restarts sprinkled throughout, and that by nature is part of speaking, especially without notes. The challenge I have for you is, again, like I've been saying to everyone and myself, to watch the recording. Because when you watch the recording, then you'll see those restarts, maybe be able to tackle them more and see what wonderful things you did for the speech. And I'm so excited that you're on level 5 moving forward. And again, you could be DTA 10 times over. Thank you so much, Phil.
Maybe get this microphone situation fixed. Kate is fixing the lectern here. Driving her crazy, as she said. May I have a timer's report?
Certainly, Madam Toastmaster. Tracy spoke for 246, Thomas 231, and Kate 243, all 3 of which qualified.
All right, everybody. Now we can vote for Tracy, Thomas, or Katie. Home improvement can take several forms, as has been discussed here today. Anything from do it yourself completely. I was in a family that did that. We had tractors to have to start the foundation. Dad would hire like a mason or a roofing contractor, depending on how busy he was. Up until the last year or so, he's actually done a tremendous amount of home improvement himself. He and my uncle's one, he passed away back in August. Started in 2017 with rebuilding a zombie house. Mom and Dad. Dad was 86 at the time. And he bought a zombie house. The house had been unoccupied for about 10 years.
Yeah.
It needed all new windows, doors, a new kitchen, bathroom. We didn't take its studs down in all of it, but some of it did. All new flooring. It was quite a job. He had a lot of help from me and Steve, as well as his brother. And then after they finished that, Bill has something to say.
I will attest to the beautiful job he's done. He lives 4 doors from me. The house was unbelievable catastrophe. And he has made it into a beautiful ranch. Unbelievable.
Yeah. He actually has pretty much finished everything. Unlike the kitchen job, there was trim that never got done until they were about ready to sell the house. It took about 12 years for the kitchen to get done. That'll leave that last piece, that last little arch. It's not done. After they finished that house, Dad and Uncle Sonny then went and built a brand new house for Sonny, which he unfortunately only lived in for 2 years. I think we will go into our reports now, starting with our general evaluator, who I saw over there making massive amounts of notes. throughout the entire meeting. Oh,
You can do whatever way you want.
Yes, I forgot how large my head is. All right. Am I on board? I start, yeah, I don't talk too bad. All righty, we're gonna start with the Toastmaster of the day. Jill, you took charge right after your introduction. Your introduction of the jobs this morning was faultless. There was no fumbling. There was no double clutching. There was, oh my God, I got the wrong, none of that. I love that. Okay. Your theme, perfect. What do we say this time of year? Well, we really should reorganize that kitchen or bath. And the response is after the holidays. This is premier after the holidays. So we want to give you credit for that. As you open the meeting, you might have spent a bit too long with the kitchen inventory, but you're into this stuff and I'm going to try to forgive you. Okay? I have some more notes for you at the end, but we're going to get into Tracy. Tracy used humor. She opened up with a little jive with the Toastmaster du jour. And that was important because the speaker that you had to evaluate today was somber. So I want to give you kudos for lighting up the mood. You did give him points that he could improve on. So I want to salute you with the phrase, nice sandwich. And by that I mean what you liked, what could be improved, and what you loved about the speech. That's the way I see the sandwich. Oh, Tom. Oh, I should look this way. Oh, Tom.
Oh, that was good. They're right up there.
That was an excellent open. You had excellent advice for the next time that Sylvia gives a speech. Once again, nice sandwich. Now, Katie, just the tiniest bit disappointed this morning. Tiny bit.
Open face.
You had this excellent opportunity to start your evaluation with a song, and that song being, that's life. That's what all the people say. but you passed, all right? Now, that's the only. I like that song because that's the only one I will take a shot at with karaoke. That's another speech. Kate, you were excellent when you listed his previous efforts and how he dovetailed with this speech this morning. Very nice. It was such a great sandwich. It was a sandwich with toothpicks, olives, and cherry tomatoes. And I also want to thank you because he did touch on a lot of health issues. And you didn't mention the AM Lockport, never give a speech about health curse. So I'm grateful for that.
Now you're talking about it, great.
I know I'm on thin ice.
Thanks, Dave.
Oh, yeah. We'll explain it to you later. I'm not gonna list the names. Now, she had a little bit of a bumpy spot, but I want to give Jill kudos again because she stood there as Toastmaster and she realized that just because this evaluation guide didn't get to the evaluator, it's not her problem. And she made short work of it. She didn't belabor it. That was good. That was real good. You handled it with alacrity. I just thought I'd throw in alacrity.
Catastrophe.
And now this is where Michael says, oh, you really like that word, don't you, Dad? You're gonna throw it in. Jill, nice job. Like, Bill, I'm gonna give this back to you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, yeah, give me the whole thing. Don't walk out with it. This is a real pain to have to keep handing off to people,
But that's life.
but that's life. I recall hearing the song, but I sure couldn't sing it either.
Good song.
Karaoke night? Well, yeah, karaoke, you actually have the words in front of you. Somebody better bring a karaoke machine, because we don't have one.
The festival has one.
Oh, that was
Everybody
that
probably
slide.
has a karaoke app someplace, yes.
Oh, such an electronic age, there's nothing.
We can't do. It's not home improvement, that's for sure. Karaoke and home improvement do not match up.
They do if you want to take a break.
Okay, let's start getting some reports going here. Marty, our grammarian.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Starting with Mike Florio. Mike, welcome back. Couple things I liked about Mike's speech, the verbiage that he used. Carbon foot reduction. And he said, it was a pivotal year for me in the year 2000. Tracy, I liked when he said, bring it to the next level. I did pick up, he said, and I, and he paused, and then he said, he. Thomas, he said, we were gifted by Sylvia's speech. I like that. I also like how you said, how she averted identity theft. Kate, and you gave us structure. You're talking about Phil's speech. Jill, you're talking about home improvement. You said around their houses. I would change that. Say, around their homes. Mike Licata in tabletop said, major home improvement will never be my, and I forgot what word you said, but I was waiting for you to say my forte. I don't know what you said, something similar to that. And you said, mentioned avoid a catastrophe experience is what I heard, but I think you meant to say, and you may have said it, or I may not have heard you say, a catastrophic experience. Carol Ann, when you're talking about your daughter's plans and building a new home, you said, she's been, and then you repeated, she's been, and you're talking about house plan versus she has been working on house plans or new building plans for a new home. Steve, you caught me here. I really had to challenge, I was challenged by this and my listening skills. You said, let's get into something, and I don't know if you said scientific. I thought that it'd be funny if you said septic. And then you said, that's specific. Specific. Let's get into something specific. Phil, I liked the use of your phrase that you used, happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. At one point you said, you were talking about the plan, and you said healthy, and then you paused, and then you said happy, healthy, wealthy, and you reordered what you were saying, which I think is fine. I like the phrase you used, Phil, when you said about the book, the analogy about the book in heaven. And I'll close with that. It was not a major catastrophe today. My listening skills for grammar, Madam Toastmaster, the day back to you.
Mary. Master Beth.
I go lengthy pause.
See how quick that microphone came down?
Is this working?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, we had a very good meeting today. I only counted 6 hours in total. So I thought that was very good. Jill, you had such a good use of pauses and adding fillers. So the last minute you added it off. Oh, you did so well. I found it very interesting that the only 2 people who used kind of was one of our speakers, Mike, and his evaluator. You both used kind of. No one else did. I don't know if that was purpose, how that worked. Philip, you had some filler words, you know them, all right. Now, a few times, a number of people had restarts, but I think you had a very good meeting. Thank you.
I think we will do our quiz master next. Eric.
Hi, Eric.
You got a face.
He's on break this week. Say hello while you can.
Hi. All right, question number 1. This is for $50. Not that I'm getting money away, but was it pretend? I'll get Monopoly money. Anyway, what TV station did Nancy use in her inspiration? Like who?
Station?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
All right, now, who played Home Improvement? Hint, he causes catastrophe. There you go. Now, who hosted a Home Improvement show in the 90s? And we don't even heard of anymore.
Good old dear, the guy with the beard and Channel 17.
So
Yeah, I can see him. Yeah.
Now, what was Mike Florio's job in his speech?
Selling paper.
Waste management.
Yeah.
Recycle paper.
Buying and selling.
Waste management.
Waste
There
management.
you go. Now, how old does Phil want to be? 2004.
Now, who believe in coincidences? And I have a Gibbs rule, number 39, there is no such thing as coincidence. Finally, who sang That's Life?
A lot of people, but Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra. They gave Frank credit because when he did this song, he sounded like an old soul singer. So he did this with his guitar.
That was your cue.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Manny?
I think our last report to do is our ward master report.
Wait a minute.
Jackie.
Wait a minute, hold it, Tech and Gesture Master.
Oh, Tech and Gesture Master. Oh.
It's 8:31.
Sit down, Jackie, sit down.
Tom Moran. Are you there? Are you there?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Once again, it's 8:31 now, and last week I was the last one to go as well. I would suggest as a tech issue that perhaps a clock on the wall might be useful. I did have some comments to make. We must be careful with our activities on screen and also in the room because we can all see each other now. One thing that I really like today that you've done is you've got a television mounted on the wall. I don't know if that's a permanent fixture, part of the room now, and we're going to be using that every week. But that's a nice feature. I can also see myself on it, which is not really important to me. But I think one of the things, if we could do it with the screen on the wall, is when the activity is in the room and the Toastmaster or a guest or whoever in the room is speaking, that on the television screen, if we were able to project the people who are online, that would actually let everyone in the room see everybody who was at the meeting. I think that would be pretty cool if we could do that. I have a concern about, I don't know if we do programs anymore. I don't, unless I go online and download a copy of the program and print it out for myself, I don't really get one. I don't know that Toastmaster of the Day prepares a program like we used to. One of the things I did notice with this timer's light, it's on the podium. I'm not so sure that's a good idea because in some cases when the speaker comes out in front of the podium, then the timing light is in back of them. So I might think about repositioning that, and also people are inclined to trip over that cord when they're trying to get back and forth to the podium to do their speaking. So I'm gonna end it there, even though I have pages. Given that we're already over time, I'll let it go at that. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
And so they can see the nice agenda that we had today. It was
Oh, that is excellent.
very
So if
agenda.
we could put that up so it would be available to our online members or virtual members, that would be
Mary
great.
and I were just
We'll run out and buy
discussing
another
that
camera.
possibility. No, but
Gallery.
maybe it's okay, we could put it on our website and then it could be printed off by people in their home. The word did quite well today. I have 22 uses. Marty gets extra points for saying catastrophic, and Tracy owns the word with the most usage.
I think that is all the reports.
I have one announcement.
Marty has an announcement.
Forget about our guest too.
Fellow Toastmasters, as your Area 11 area director, I just wanted to remind everyone that Saturday, January 29th at 9 a.m. on Zoom is our area table topics and international speech contest. Saturday, January 29th, 9 a.m. and it's all Zoom.
Okay.
More information to follow in the next couple of days. Thank you.
To dovetail that, the January 20th, the week before, will be our contest.
Oh, okay,
It's on the calendar.
okay.
Check in with the guest.
We got to go to Thomas first.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Awards and.
I want to give Avis an opportunity to comment on our meeting. Avis. An opportunity to comment on our meeting, but before I do that, give her a minute to get her thoughts together. Our winners today, and since they're all online, someone there is going to have to draw the winning ticket after the meeting's over. For table topics, it was Dave Jones. Our evaluator was Tracy Farrell. And our speaker today was Mike Florio.
Mike Florio.
Since we're running over time, I'm just going to say that future meetings, the schedules will be up. Make sure you confirm your roles. I am Toastmaster next week, and I've decided on a really good topic, never BS a BSer. All right. All right. With that, I'm going to give Avis a chance to comment and let us know how she liked our meeting, whether we might see her back.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I felt so welcomed. It was great. And I'm impressed that you remembered, first of all, that I'd been here before, and second of all, how to pronounce my name. And since I plan on coming again, let me just clarify that. So the name is Avis, not the rent-a-car company, not my family business. It's Avis, and I'm in Burlington, Ontario, Canada at the moment, but I hope to visit you in person. So there you go. See you then.
Thank you.
Avis. With that, I'm going to wrap the meeting up and say, see everyone next year.
We have a theme yet, Thomas? You said that.
I have a question for Tom Moran. Tom, could you hear me?
No BS and BS.
Yeah, I can hear you right now.
No, Tom Moran.